Want to start fighting back against cyber threats and actually cause the bad guys some pain? Good. Let me share with you a way you can do just that and start making hackers' lives a lot more difficult. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Adam, and this channel is all about cyber threat intelligence. I've helped build CTI teams, refine processes, and train clients on the best practices. If you want to learn all that for free, subscribe to this channel. Today, we'll be looking at the pyramid of pain and how you can use it to start making the bad guys cry. The pyramid has become a cornerstone of many cyber threat intelligence teams and platforms, and it's even been used by security architects to help guide them on the deployment of security solutions. Let's dive in and start exploring how you can start using it today. But before we begin, we first need to understand what an indicator of compromise is and how you can use them. According to CrowdStrike, an indicator of compromise is a piece of digital forensics that suggests that an endpoint or network may have been breached. These clues can aid a security professional in determining if malicious activity has occurred. A defender will use an IOC in one of three ways. They'll use it to determine if an endpoint or network has been compromised. This happens during a digital forensics investigation and response operation, or DFIR, where a DFIR team will search through log files and machines looking for indicators of compromise. You can also use an IOC to block known bad from interacting with your endpoint or networks. If you know a certain IP address is associated with a ransomware campaign, then you can block it from connecting to your servers. This is how traditional antivirus products used to work. They had a long list of file hashes, which were known to be malicious, and they would block these files from executing on a machine. Finally, you can use an IOC to perform IOC-based threat hunting. This form of threat hunting involves ingesting a threat intelligence report, which contains the latest IOCs from threat intelligence vendors, and then you actively search for these IOCs in your estate. IOCs play a key part in any defender's cybersecurity strategy, but not all IOCs are created equal, and this is where the pyramid of pain comes in. If you've heard of the pyramid of pain before, or use it to investigate IOCs and perform threat hunting, let me know. Do you use it for detection engineering? Or do you use it to prioritize the IOCs in your threat intelligence database? Or maybe you use the pyramid of pain for something completely different? Let me know in the comment section. I would love to hear about it. The pyramid of pain consists of 6 layers of IOCs, which grow in how much pain it can cause an adversary to change them. At layer 1, we have hash values. These are the alphanumeric value that is generated by applying a mathematical algorithm to a file. They could be an MD5, SHA-1, or SHA-256 hash. They are used to provide a unique reference to specific malware or files seen during a breach or security incident. Unfortunately, they can be easily changed by making a small adjustment to the malware's source code or simply just recompiling it. At layer 2, we have IP addresses. These are numeric identifiers for internet locations, like servers you connect to through your web browser. Adversaries will launch their attacks from servers connected to the internet, and these servers will have an associated IP address. An attacker can change their IP address with relative ease by using a proxy server or simply renewing the IP address with their ISP provider. Moving up the pyramid, we have domain names. These are the alphanumeric or human-readable identifiers for internet locations, like google.com, and are associated with an IP address. Adversaries need to register a domain name with a DNS provider, so they are slightly more painful to change because there's a small cost involved, and usually the malware needs to be reprogrammed to call back to a different domain name. As we move up to layer 4, we have network and host artifacts. These are artifacts like files, registry keys, and logs found on an endpoint machine. A piece of malware or a threat actor will leave behind artifacts once they have compromised a system or network. These artifacts are more difficult for a threat actor to hide. For instance, a specific registry key may be changed to make the malware persistent on an infected device. This is harder to change, but the bad guy could ultimately use another persistence mechanism, or even just another registry key, to achieve the same result. At layer 5 we have tools. These are the specific tools a threat actor may use during a cyber attack. They could use the certutil.exe tool to perform a file transfer and download malware onto a system. If you block certutil's execution in your environment, then the threat actor will need to find a completely different tool to download their malware onto a target machine. Hence, they'd need to rethink their post-exploitation strategy, making their lives more difficult. Finally, we have tactics, techniques and procedures, or TTPs, that an adversary uses to compromise a system and breach an environment. Phishing is a common TTP that threat actors use. Targeting this TTP and eliminating phishing as an initial access vector, making it considerably harder to do, would require the threat actor to develop a new initial access method. This would cause them significant pain, as they would need to invest resources into developing this new initial access method, and for the vast majority of threat actors, they'd simply move on to the next target. Think about cyber criminals just targeting the low-hanging fruit that's out there. So how can you use a pyramid of pain? With the pyramid of pain defined, it is important to consider how we, as defenders, can use the pyramid to make our organizations more secure. The more pain it causes an adversary to change an IOC, the less likely they are going to. If a defender is able to detect and react to IOCs higher up the pyramid, then the less likely they are to succumb to an adversary who makes use of them. For example, if I write a detection rule to block a specific hacking tool's file hash, then great, I can block this one specific version of the tool, and I'm safe today. But what if tomorrow the bad guy simply adds a few strings and recompiles a tool? Now, my detection rule will no longer work, and their attack will be successful. What if this tool always writes a specific file to the temp directory on Windows machines as part of its execution? Well, I could write a rule to detect that. And now we've moved up the pyramid, and the adversary will need to use another tool or rewrite their current tool to evade this detection. Most adversaries won't bother to rewrite their tool and just simply move on to the next easy target. The higher up the pyramid of pain your detection rules target, the more likely they are to be stopping a bad guy. However, writing these detection rules requires the defender to have a deeper understanding of the technical details of how an attack works. It's easy to block a file hash, it's harder to block artifacts. The defender needs to know what an adversary is doing, how they are doing it, and how they can detect evidence of this. A defender can't just stop at, bad guy uses XYZ tool, I will get the hash of this tool and block it. This mindset is not good enough in today's cybersecurity world. Today, we need to know how an adversary achieves their goals, so whatever tool they use, we can detect it. This may sound like a daunting task. Thankfully, you can use frameworks like the MITRE ATT&CK matrix that provide a common language for cybersecurity professionals to share how attacks are happening and how systems are getting compromised. It includes the tactics, techniques and procedures that adversaries are using to breach systems. You can use this framework to map an adversary to their TTPs, and from this write detection rules that will alert a defender if these TTPs are seen in their environment. Threat intelligence articles are filled with MITRE TTPs, and threat intelligence analysts will use these articles to better protect their estate from attacks that are being seen in the real world. Take this example. Technique T1566001 relates to an adversary using a spear phishing attachment to gain initial access to a corporate environment. A threat intelligence article may detail this as a certain attack method used by a bad guy. As a threat intelligence analyst, you may then read this article, conclude that this bad guy is likely to target your environment, so then focus on writing a threat hunt or detection rule that is tailored to detect this initial access method. For example, maybe an Office document spawning a CMD or PowerShell process. It is important to remember that the MITRE ATT&CK matrix is just a list of known ways threat actors have targeted organizations in the past. A determined adversary who is targeting a specific organization will likely change their IOCs and may even develop new TTPs to breach said organization. These adversaries tend to be defined as Advanced Persistent Threat Actors, or APTs for short. And despite a common misconception in cyber, the vast majority of organizations are unlikely to be on their target list. It is much more likely that an organization will be targeted by a cyber criminal group looking for profit rather than a nation state or other APT who is targeting them for some other motivation. The Pyramid of Pain is a good illustrative tool for cybersecurity professionals to explain the importance of investing resources into detection methods that go beyond simple file hashes or IP addresses. It's a concept that helps show less technical individuals the importance of writing well thought out detections and threat hunts that go beyond the simple basics. Although these rules may require greater knowledge, they will inflict greater pain on an adversary and keep an organization safer for longer. Use the Pyramid of Pain the next time you need to talk to someone in a suit about why you need a bigger budget for cybersecurity. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like to let me know you want to see more of this content. Also, check out this video on the indicator lifecycle so you can learn how to use indicators in your environment. Good luck.